In the unpredictable world of Horn of Africa politics, true surprises are rare. The region is known for its shifting alliances, deep-rooted rivalries, and a history shaped by both conflict and resilience. Yet every so often, an event occurs that shakes even the most seasoned observers. Sudan's Prime Minister Malik Agar's sudden visit to Eritrea's capital, Asmara, was one of those rare moments, a move that caught diplomats and analysts off guard, sparking speculation across the region. The meeting with President Isaias Afwerki was more than a diplomatic formality. It was a bold signal of a new alliance. Behind closed doors, the two leaders exchanged not just pleasantries, but visions for a shared future. Both nations, facing unique crises, saw this as a chance to reshape their futures together. For ordinary citizens in Khartoum and Asmara, the news brought a mix of hope and uncertainty, as the stakes could not be higher. The secrecy surrounding the visit underscored its urgency and seriousness. Few details leaked out, fueling rumors and highlighting the delicate nature of the talks. Images of the leaders in deep discussion hinted at the gravity of their agenda. Every gesture, every word exchanged seemed to carry the weight of their nation's futures. For Sudan, torn by internal war and humanitarian crisis, this outreach is a vital lifeline. Prime Minister Agar needs more than sympathy from the world. He needs a strategic partner who understands the stakes and is willing to act. Eritrea, long isolated and wary of outside influence, sees Sudan as a way to break out of encirclement and gain a crucial ally. For President Afwerki, this is a rare opportunity to strengthen his nation's hand in regional affairs. This handshake in Asmara marks a pragmatic union, a calculated move to address their most pressing threats. It's a partnership born not just of necessity, but of shared ambition and mutual recognition of the challenges ahead. It's the opening move in a new, high-stakes game for the region, one that could redefine the balance of power in the Horn of Africa and set the stage for a future no one can yet predict. The timing of this alliance is no accident. It comes at a moment when the region is more volatile than ever, and every decision carries enormous consequences for the future of the Horn of Africa. Both Sudan and Eritrea are under immense pressure, facing challenges that threaten not just their governments, but the very fabric of their societies. Sudan is engulfed in a brutal civil war. The conflict has forced millions from their homes, leaving sprawling camps on the outskirts of shattered cities. Streets that once bustled with life now lie in ruins, and families are left to navigate a landscape of uncertainty and loss. Prime Minister Agar's government is fighting for survival. With the state's authority crumbling, the leadership is desperate for both military and diplomatic support to hold the country together and prevent total collapse. Eritrea steps in, offering Sudan a secure western flank and vital military cooperation. This includes providing safe haven for Sudanese warplanes, naval support along the Red Sea, and a promise of solidarity in the face of growing threats. For Eritrea, the threat comes from Ethiopia. Ethiopia's push for access to the Red Sea is seen as a direct challenge to Eritrean sovereignty, raising fears of confrontation and encirclement. Tensions with Ethiopia have led to a dramatic military buildup along the border. Both sides are fortifying positions, and the risk of escalation is ever present, making new alliances not just useful, but essential for survival. By partnering with Sudan, Eritrea gains a crucial buffer zone and a rare opportunity to break out of its diplomatic isolation, forging new ties in a region where friends are few and far between. This alliance is a strategic counterweight to Ethiopia's ambitions, allowing both Sudan and Eritrea to shore up their vulnerabilities and present a united front against external threats. It's a calculated move. Sudan gets much-needed security and support, while Eritrea gains breathing room and a partner in a region where isolation can be deadly. Together, they transform their weaknesses into shared strength, forging a partnership that could alter the balance of power in the Horn of Africa. The stakes for both could not be higher. In this high-risk game of alliances and rivalries, the future of Sudan and Eritrea, and perhaps the entire region, hangs in the balance. In Asmara, Agar and Afwerki focused on 4 pillars to cement their partnership. First, deepening political and security ties, with real commitments to coordinate on regional threats. Second, working together for regional peace, presenting a united front against outside interference. Third, tackling cross-border challenges, refugees, smugglers, and armed groups through joint management. The border, once a source of friction, is now a shared responsibility. Fourth, reviving economic cooperation, especially trade and transport. Both economies are fragile, but cross-border trade and access to Eritrean ports could be a lifeline for Sudan. For Eritrea, economic synergy and regional connectivity offer a path out of isolation. These pillars promise more than security. They lay the groundwork for long-term stability. The alliance is designed to be both practical and transformative. A key outcome of the Asmara summit was a joint plan to secure their volatile 600-kilometer border. Dedicated teams from both countries will patrol, share intelligence, and respond to threats in real time. For Sudan, this means blocking the rapid support forces from using Eritrea as a rear base. For Eritrea, it's about preventing Sudanese territory from sheltering opposition groups. Intelligence sharing will also target smuggling networks that fuel conflict and corruption. The plan aims to restore law and order, making the border a line of cooperation, not chaos. There's a humanitarian angle too, safer managed crossings for refugees fleeing Sudan's war. The goal: security, stability, and a more humane response to crisis. Beyond immediate security, this alliance is a bold geopolitical maneuver. For Eritrea, it's a way to counter Ethiopia's ambitions for Red Sea access and break diplomatic isolation. By aligning with Sudan, Eritrea creates a bloc on Ethiopia's western flank, complicating Addis Ababa's calculations. For Sudan, the partnership offers strategic depth and access to Red Sea ports, vital as Port Sudan faces threats. Together, they gain leverage over Red Sea politics, a region coveted by global powers. This alliance signals that coastal states intend to shape their own destiny, not be dictated to by outsiders. It's classic strategic balancing, smaller states uniting to contain a larger neighbor. The partnership is about survival, influence, and control over a critical maritime corridor. The Horn's balance of power is shifting. The Sudan-Eritrea alliance has sent shockwaves through the region, especially in Ethiopia. Addis Ababa now faces a united bloc to its north and west, complicating its Red Sea ambitions. Any aggressive move by Ethiopia risks a two-front conflict, forcing greater caution. Ethiopia may seek new alliances or try to exploit cracks in the Sudan-Eritrea partnership. South Sudan and Djibouti are also watching closely. South Sudan's oil exports and Djibouti's port dominance could be affected. The rapid support forces see the alliance as a threat and may seek their own external backers. The risk: a wider regional conflict with more actors drawn in. The alliance is redrawing the region's diplomatic map. Every neighbor is recalibrating, wary of the new balance of power. The Horn is on edge, and the next moves matter. This isn't just about Sudan and Eritrea. What's unfolding in the Horn of Africa is a complex web of shifting alliances and deep-rooted rivalries. with new players stepping onto the stage and old tensions resurfacing. Egypt is quietly joining the mix, but its involvement is anything but passive. Cairo's interests in the region run deep, shaped by history, geography, and the ever-present need to secure its future. At the heart of Egypt's concerns is Ethiopia's massive dam on the Nile, a project that could dramatically alter the flow of water downstream, threatening Egypt's lifeline and sparking fears over water security for millions. Cairo sees the growing partnership between Sudan and Eritrea as a strategic opportunity. By aligning with these neighbors, Egypt hopes to increase pressure on Ethiopia, leveraging regional relationships to protect its vital interests. Recent high-level meetings between Egyptian and Eritrean officials have underscored this emerging axis, signaling a new era of cooperation and shared objectives in the Horn. Together, Sudan, Eritrea, and Egypt are forming a bloc with the potential to force Ethiopia to the negotiating table, not just over the dam, but also over access to the Red Sea and broader regional influence. Yet this new alignment carries risks. It threatens to harden divisions and could set the stage for a Cold War-style standoff, with rival camps and military posturing reminiscent of past decades. Ethiopia, feeling the pressure, will almost certainly seek out its own counter-alliances, reaching beyond its borders to secure support and balance the scales in this high-stakes regional chess game. The Horn of Africa is rapidly becoming a battleground of alliances, where local disputes draw in global powers, each with their own interests and ambitions, watching and waiting for their moment to act. The stakes are enormous: control over water, access to ports, and influence over one of the world's most strategically vital regions, where trade routes and resources intersect. As alliances shift and ambitions collide, the outcome remains far from certain. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads, its future hanging in the balance. The international response to the Sudan Eritrea alliance is mixed. The African Union welcomes dialogue, hoping it leads to stability and African-led solutions. Western governments are wary, fearing Eritrea's involvement could worsen Sudan's war. Eritrea's human rights record and history of regional meddling raise red flags. Human rights groups warn that Sudan may trade reform for military support. The humanitarian crisis in Sudan is deepening, with aid workers caught in the crossfire. The world hopes for positive cooperation, but fears the alliance could fuel more violence. The region stands at a crossroads between hope and catastrophe. The Sudan-Eritrea alliance stands at a crossroads. It could become a foundation for peace, securing borders, boosting trade, and encouraging regional cooperation. A stable Sudan might be more open to peace talks, and Ethiopia could be drawn into diplomacy. But the alliance could also harden into a power bloc, isolating Ethiopia and triggering an arms race. The risk: a polarized region, with rival camps and rising tensions. The future depends on whether leaders choose cooperation or confrontation. The handshake in Asmara has changed the region's map. For millions in the Horn, the stakes are life and death. The next chapter is unwritten,